Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about an ETF that has completely crushed the VOO in 2025. So stick around. All right, guys. Well, it's no surprise that in 2025, the VOO, the S&P 500 ETF, has been getting crushed. A lot of that can be attributed to Donald Trump and threats of tariffs and what that's done to the market. As you can see here, year to date, the S&P 500 is down. It hit a really bad negative point there in April as we had that tariff terror, but then it slowly started coming back up. Now, there's an ETF that has been crushing the VOO year to date, and you might be surprised to hear that it's in Europe. That ETF is the VGK, the Vanguard FTSE Europe ETF, and year to date it's up 20%. As we can see here that the European ETF VGK is up 20% since the beginning of the year, while the VOO, which tracks the S&P 500, is down 1% for the year. Now, why is that? Why is the European index up while the American one is down if they're all stocks? Well, if we think about what's inside the VOO, it tracks the S&P 500, and a lot of the biggest companies in that index are technology companies. So if we think about some of the biggest names in the VOO, they'll include technology companies like Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Amazon, Tesla. These are all really big technology companies, but they're all very volatile as well. And so far in 2025, technology is the fourth worst performing sector year to date. When we take a look at Europe, or the VGK ETF, which tracks the European index, we can see that there's almost no technology stocks in that index. And the reason for that is that Europe, it's a lot more, it's an older economy, it's a lot more sophisticated, big banks, large health companies, things like that. Whereas the United States is heavy in technology. We're the leader when it comes to technology innovation. So some of the names that you see in the VGK ETF include names like Nestle, the chocolate maker, HSBC, the bank, AstraZeneca, they're a medical company, right? That's the big difference between the European ETF and the United States ETF. As you can see what sectors are in that ETF, you'll see that the top sector there is financials, whereas in the United States index, the top sector is going to be technology. So that's the big difference. Technology's having a horrible year. Financials, industrials, consumer staples, they're all having a really good year in comparison. But basically, if you were to have started 2025 and made a decision of whether you wanted to invest in the US or in Europe, you would have done a whole lot better with putting your money in Europe since it's up 20%. Now, that doesn't mean anything for the long term. Over long periods of time, the US has been beating Europe pretty soundly. Now, of course, over long periods of time, you'll see that the US has been gaining over 5,000%, while Europe has gained over 2,000%. But of course, a lot of people watching this video are probably beginning their investing journey, right? And there have been times in the past where foreign stocks have done better than US. So in like the 1970s, the 1980s, foreign stocks did better than the S&P 500. There was a time in the 2000s there that foreign also did better. But ever since the 2010s, the US, led by technology stocks, has been doing a lot better than foreign stocks. But you got to think more long term. Try to diversify, right? Not put all your eggs in the S&P 500 basket. You don't want to get into a situation where maybe in the 2030s, the 2040s, Europe or foreign stocks are doing better than the US. So do your research, consult with a financial professional before you make these decisions. But I always encourage people to invest for the long term, right? Well, anyways, that does it for today's video. If you guys found value, if you learned something that you didn't know before, hit that like, make sure you subscribe, leave a comment down below, ask me a question, any question. I'll try to answer it in a future video for you guys, okay? Until then, we'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.